Please welcome me in joining and welcoming Dave Kopp to the stage, ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing, folks? Everybody hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Doing good.
All right, good. I try to be exuberant whenever possible. All right, I am Dave Kopp. I am the president of the Arizona Citizens Defense League. How many members we got out there? All right, that's not too bad, but if you're not a member, you need to be a member. There's a membership table right over there. You spot our very fancy and very attractive banner right over there, if you see where I'm pointing. Our guy Mark, who is an intrepid road warrior, if ever there was one, is manning the table. Please go over there and sign up. You probably just heard we have over 10,000 members statewide. We would love to see that number hit 20 by the end of the year. Our wonderful legislators in the Capitol behind us, they respect numbers. They respect contact. They want to hear from you. Well, no, not really, but we want them to hear from you. And everybody they hear from, every single person, makes a difference. As one of the folks up here earlier said,
Kopp.
everybody makes a difference. Don't ever think I'm only one person and I don't count. Every one of you counts. Every last one of you. Okay? Every one of you puts your voices together and yells loud enough, sends them email, sends them a letter, makes a phone call, and comes down here, does rallies like this. They pay attention. That's one of the reasons that Arizona was voted #1 in gun-friendly laws by Guns and Ammo magazine. That's right. 10,000 Az-CDL members and counting. So please, help us, help you, support Az-CDL. I brought this here, one of the other fine folks that came up here to speak earlier mentioned technology, social media, all right? This iPad, one of the greatest inventions ever. They talk about sliced bread and apple pie and all that. iPad, okay? I love this thing. I used to carry around a laptop, I used to carry around a briefcase full of paper. Now I carry this. This has got a listing of all the bills that we're keeping an eye on, all right? If you want to take part in the technological wars that we're engaged in, once again, Arizona Citizen Events League, www.azcdl.org. Go to that website, there's a little menu on the side, click on bill tracking. You can do the same thing I'm doing right now. Look at every last one of those bills that we're keeping an eye on. Tell you what position we're taking on it. Support, oppose, keeping an eye on. Give you a brief description of what it does and what it is that we're thinking you all should think about it. And you know, hey, you can make up your own mind, but we're giving you a hand. And you can do the same thing we do, get a hold of these people and say, hey, what the hell was in your head? So let me give you a brief rundown of just some of the highlights of the coming session. Because this past Monday, the session started. By Friday, over 600 bills had already been filed. Okay? So let's just give you a brief rundown here of some of the highlights. Okay? Just for example, we've got one bill, and this is, I should have my other glasses on. So it's House Bill 2207. Would make it a crime to discharge a firearm if you're considered intoxicated. Same standard as DWI. All right. Now, sounds reasonable on the surface, I suppose, right? Well, let's say you're sitting home watching a football game, had a couple of beers, somebody kicks in your front door, it's home invasion time. You put a bullet in this guy, you just committed a crime. Lucky you, huh? This is not a good idea. There are times when it's awful stupid to be drinking and carrying a firearm. But let's not make it a blanket law. Let's consider the circumstances of each and every crime. And let's charge somebody with a crime when they deserve to be charged with a crime. Okay? That's just one example of all the wonderful laws that are being put forward. There's House Bill 2251. They want to have a study committee to study stand your ground laws. They did the same thing in Florida not too long ago. Anybody get any idea of what a study committee is supposed to do? It's supposed to get rid of it. Exactly. That's the whole point. So yeah, let's get rid of that one too. Ooh, this one's good. 2322. National Instant Criminal Background Checks is the short title. And unfortunately, this one's sponsored by somebody who's normally our good friend, Representative Justin Pierce. One of the big problems with this bill, ostensibly it promotes putting the mentally ill into the prohibited possession category, which on the surface doesn't sound like too bad of an idea. One of the problems with this bill, though, is that it will take anybody who is charged with certain felony crimes or misdemeanor domestic violence crimes, charged with, and throw them in as prohibited possessors. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I have this vague recollection that here in America, we're innocent until proven guilty.
Amen.
So I'm not really comfortable with the idea of taking someone who's been charged with a crime and removing their right to bear arms. Constitutional rights really shouldn't be removed on a charge where you haven't even been proven guilty of anything yet. So yeah, we're a little uncomfortable with that. And I think maybe, especially if you live in Mr. Pierce's district, you might want to let him know that that's not a real good idea. But you know, I'm not going to keep running down the laundry list of bad bills, because there's a few good bills too. And that's largely, come on, say it with me, Az-CDL.
Amen.
All right, so there's a few good bills out there. One of them is, let's see, and once again, I apologize for not wearing my good glasses, but looks like 2209, House Bill 2209. Thanks. This one would actually strengthen the stand your ground law. You know, because we've all heard the talk about how they want to revisit stand your ground. And even our wonderful Senator John McCain has said, we need to take another look at that law. Well, okay. There's an old saying, be careful what you wish for. We had a Tucson attorney by the name of Dave Hardy, some of you folks may be familiar with. He drafted up a law that will take that stand your ground law and make it oh so much stronger. And so, as far as we're concerned, those of us who value our right to keep and bear arms, it's going to make that stand your ground law way, way better. And folks who want to gut it and trample on it, they're probably going to be screaming blue murder when they read that bill. So, but hey, you know, if you wanted to revisit it, okay, we're good with that. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, there's also the bill that, I don't know if any of you folks know this, but right now, if somebody tries to grab your gun and use it against you, it's a misdemeanor. Yeah, it's a misdemeanor. So we've got a bill that would bump that up to aggravated assault, which is a felony. Put you on the same par as, you know, policemen and so on and so forth. And if somebody tries to grab their gun, it's a felony. If you try to grab your gun, it's a misdemeanor. So we're going to at least try to change that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we've got a bill 2339. Some of you are probably familiar with the fact that we've tried to take care of the public places ban on firearms. You know, you walk into the public buildings like the Capitol behind us, and they have a sign in the window that says no guns. Several times over the past few years we've tried to run a bill to address that, and the governor's vetoed it. One of her concerns being that, well, I only want it to apply to permit holders. So this year we've decided, okay, well, you know, the governor asked for a bill that only applies to permit holders. So we wrote a bill that said, okay, if you have a permit and the bill does not have actual security, the building, I'm sorry, does not have actual security, doesn't have guards and metal detectors and so on, you can walk on past the sign. So that's what she asked for. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have another bill, and this is down here in the Senate bill, so scoot on down here. Another bill that's similar to that, and this is Senate Bill 1063, and these two bills would work together. Let's hope we get them both passed. This bill would basically say that if they post a sign and they don't have the lockers that have been required since 2006, it's 8 years now, if they haven't bothered to put these lockers in the past 8 years that they've been required, then you could walk on past the sign because the law doesn't apply. You probably heard about this on TV because, you know, people on TV have been screaming and yelling, oh my God, they're going to be able to carry rocket launchers into the Super Bowl now. No, not really. But, you know, if you hear about rocket launchers into the Super Bowl bill, that's what we're talking about. Actually, what it does is just says, if they don't have the lockers that are required by law in a public building, you can walk on by the sign. So, next time you hear rocket launchers in the Super Bowl, remember that's what it actually does. Okay. Another bill that we have in the Senate, 1064, would take the two conflicting definitions that we have in statute about firearms, one of which includes air guns, and change them to A, remove air guns, and B, make them both make sense. Air gun is not a firearm. I don't know if any of you people taught your kids how to shoot using an air gun. I did. But if you were teaching your child how to shoot, let's say out in the woods, taking pot shots at cans and using an air gun, you were committing a felony. You probably didn't even know it. Under state law, an air gun is a firearm, and unlawful discharge within city limits, it's a felony. So this would change that. So that's kind of a nutshell. And like I said, please, if you want to know more, go on AZCDL.org, click bill tracking, and you'll get a list of everything. And there's more coming. So by all means, support us, help you, join up, and keep the fight going. Thank you.